It's another beautiful edition of Polity coming to you live from the Abuja studio of KAFTAN Television. My name is Dayo Omogun, and it's my pleasure to host the show this edition. And on this edition, we will be talking about two trending topics, the Uromi 16 killings, and we'll also, after some time, when we get to halfway of the program, we will go and talk about elongation of tenure for public officers. Meanwhile, let me quickly bring in my guests, and to my immediate right, you have Comrade Alaboye Duke. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
And I also have Ambassador Jeremiah Agala, convener of Inspiring Youth Africa Initiative. It's also a public affairs analyst. You're welcome.
You got it today.
This time around, yeah. You're welcome. And like I said, because we've lost some time, I must apologize for the loss of time, and let's hope that we can cover lost grounds quickly. Now, gentlemen, you are very well in up to the beat concerning the killings that happened last Friday in Uromi, Edo State, and one is wondering what could have brought us to this pass. What do you think could have led to such gruesome killings? Maybe I should start with you, Duke.
Well, it's not a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issues of insecurity, communal clashes have been at the front burner of our nation. So I feel very sad when the country is not at war, and yet we are losing citizens at random stages, untold times and even periods. In developed countries, or countries that we try to emulate from, you see fights are organized, wars are organized, communal clashes are organized, and with time you see how it progresses into this sort of a thing. So I think it's worrisome, and most often time we come and analyze these issues, and I wonder if the people at the end of affairs, the authorities, if they really pay
any attention
to these issues. Why would we, where there is no war, where there is no tangible thing to hold, why would we lose lives and properties like that? Are we talking about that, the happenings? Take a look at what is happening in Benue State.
Right.
It's worrisome. So I think there's a lot need to be done in terms of checks and balancing. One of the attributes I want to give to this is the inadequacy of manpower when it comes to securing Nigerian citizens.
Right.
We have been shouting, advocating that the manpower should increase. We're in a place where you have security agencies here and there within the people. It will take time for this clash to get to the extent of killings, and the awareness to reporting crime has really diminished. In those days, once there is little crime, people have lots of confidence in the security agencies, and wherever there is a police station, they go and report. Today, sir, how many police stations can you cite in rural areas? They are all gone. The DPOs are not well equipped. They don't have men to even chase or curb such mineral or communal attacks. More communities in LGAs have sprung up without domiciled police stations to tackle immediate effect of all this. So people randomly take immediate coup, and before you know it has resulted into lots of killings. I think there's a lot need to be done to curb all of this. We are in a society where hunger is pursuing survival. So people tend to get angry easily.
Inflamed easily.
In the society these days. So I think it's a sad news for Nigeria.
Very sad. All right, okay. You talked about the inadequacy of security. Isn't this also reflective of the fact that the people have limited confidence even in the security that is available? Because ordinarily, I should think that even if you had issues, most Nigerians of, adult age should know that the proper procedure would be to report to the police station, isn't it? But I think that this reflects something about how the people perceive the security agencies. What do you think, Ambassador Agala?
Thank you so much for having us. It's indeed a sad one for us as a nation that 16 young people were gruesomely murdered. At this point, let's just commiserate with the Kano State government and the people of Edo State, for losing those lives. It is a deeper issue, much more than the killing. You would agree with me that this goes to show that the people had lost confidence in government and governance. In the past, if you find strange movements, you're not sure of certain people within your communities, like Comrade has said, you report to the police. But we have seen a trajectory where justice is not served and served rightly. I'll give you an instance. A young man had an issue with headers in Adamawa State some years ago, and he was taken to court. He managed to escape because he had a confrontation with the header, who even stabbed him. He managed to kill the header, and then the matter was taken to court. After 10 years, he was sentenced to death by hanging.
Okay, yeah.
For killing an attacker. There were proven records that this individual was an attacker, and in self-defense, he overpowered the person and killed the person. Now, justice is supposed to be done rightly and seen to be done. But what do we have? The same person who is fighting for survival, fighting to sustain his life, is thereby sentenced by the government, the people who he should trust. In the past, we would hear the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. Today, the common man has no hope, not in the executive, not in the judiciary, not in the legislators. Let's not even go into the fact that the legislators are busy with very mundane, very unrealistic matters, rather than in the business of governance, making laws that will help us. So the common man now gets to the point where he feels he's not governed by anybody. Nobody looks after his interests, and so they want to take laws into their hands. While it is condemnable, it is a trajectory that, if it is not checked, is actually an indication of something deeper than we can imagine. Today it is 16 people. You never can tell how many more innocent lives will be lost in this process, because people do not want to reason anymore. You can imagine how killing humans mean nothing to us anymore. How do you watch 16 people die before your very eyes? It means nothing.
Little or nothing.
Nothing. The government has said nothing, aside the fact that they paid courtesy visit to themselves and then use it as Salah celebration. That's the end of the matter. Nobody.
They have said that there will be a manhunt, and
it's okay. We've had those stories severally. If this manhunt in the past had actually produced results, we would have had citizens who would be more trusting in the system, trusting the fact that the system will protect their interests. But today we don't see that. It is who no man that survives in Nigeria as of today.
Very sad. He has just spoken about how to go about checking this very ugly trend. And he cited, buttressed this point with the story of somebody whose farm had been attacked severally and in trying to defend himself. Now, don't you see a connection between the long-standing issue of the header farmer crisis that has plagued this country for for several years? Don't you think that there's a connection between that and this particular incident that happened? Can you draw any?
Well, yes, there are lots of connections, and I think I want to say equivocally that the past administration of President Muhammad Buhari had all opportunities, to have settled that score, because at the time it was quite overwhelming. We had that administration had series of clashes between herdsmen and the farmers. Of course, if you look at these two activities, they complement each other. So in Nigeria, we can have rearing through, transporting them through the forest,
yes,
farmlands zones, from the north to the south for sales and distribution. So there are no specific routes or routes for them. So what you see is transversing. They traverse through the landscape, and most of this landscape within some regions are actually farmlands for individuals. So we will definitely continue to have these issues. Let me take a leap from what he has also said. Confidence. The million-dollar question we're going to ask ourselves again: has it not been like that in time past? Are we going to say this trajectory started today, where cattle rearers go on farmlands and their cattle, and there was nothing? So I think a lot of excitement in time past had come in. Mostly the past regime. I felt so bad that the legislator at the time could not resolve this issue to say whether they're going to do what they call ranching or not. If that would have been spelled out today, it would have been a law, and then you would have known who is trespassing on whose rights. If you look at the Freedom of Movement Act again, they also have their right to move their cattle, sell it from one point to the other. But one important fact is the destruction of farmlands. The animals are so weighty and so unkept, unguarded, that they destroy farmlands. So the other aspect of it is our communal being. Trust, number one, taking a lead from him. If there was trust, if little issues of your cow destroyed my distance should have been settled, a societal,
easy to settle,
a civil matter that the police could always settle out. So, but because of bitterness and distrust, to even quarters where you have to confidently go and report such issues, people take the laws into their hands. Secondly, the laws. We have to really, truly revisit the laws. These activities, you cannot take them away for survival of the nation and its citizens, farming and cattle rearing. So it is high time a committee is set up to look at the peculiarities as it varies from region to, because the issue with that law was the peculiarity of areas. So if a particular zone can accept ranching, it may not work
in some other
zones, like the south that is having more of water, land the land mass for most of the south region is water. So they may not want to give in for such area of land for cattle rearing. So they should look at the peculiarities, and let's begin to. Someone was given an instance. We don't have anything to do with driving trucks, heavy trucks
to fuel, to ferry fuel.
To ferry fuels. In civilized nation now, they run pipelines. Pipelines as on the wayside, well guarded, where you can take from gas, So we're talking about even the killings on this. What about the killings on the road? So these are concerning issues the legislature should be busy attending to or looking at. So these connections, you cannot take them away, but they can be regulated so that we don't continue to have these communal clashes that will bring about killings of our citizens.
All right, now still part of the distrust. We must look at a whole lot, all the angles. I mean, for example, on what basis can I go around with a weapon, for example, without necessarily stoking somebody's suspicion? I mean, the story has it that they were coming from Port Harcourt to go to Kano to go have their Eid al-Fitr, or is it their Salah, whatever. And in the process, apparently, with their Dane guns, these people felt that something more than missed the eye. And when you put that side by side with the fact that those people also have stories and several stories of how people had come to breach their peace, rape their women in their farms, I mean, terrorize them, and generally cause all kinds of destruction. You begin to see that probably these people were not, they probably, you don't want to justify killings, but at the same time you want to say they probably felt that maybe the same thing they had suffered before was about to play out. Exactly. Do you see the point?
Let's extray this distrust we talk about. In the past, there were certain matters you don't even need to take to the police. The elders of the community can settle it.
Yes.
In the past, when you see the northerners coming to the south, we're excited because you will see a new kind of culture. You want to see them display, they would have their communal dances, and then we come to watch from the south. When you see a southerner going to the north, you hear Nyamiri Babandoya, they have come. There's this excitement. We lived well. Let me go back to saying what I started with. What we are seeing today is the outcome of a deeper problem if we do not check. Some years ago, Rwanda had this same kind of crisis. And they came together to say to themselves, we are not separated by ethnicity. We are all from the same country, irrespective of your ethnicity. What we are using today is weaponizing ethnicity. No matter how I want to relate with you, if you're not from my part of this country, I look at you with some level of suspicion. Our politicians have sold us certain narratives that if he's a Yoruba man, they can't be trusted. If he's from the south, they are betrayals. If he's from the north, suspect them. That is the narrative they have used to all impoverish us and keep us at the point where we are today. And that is playing out before our very eyes. You see certain young people who naturally you should celebrate coming to your land. Some of the people from Edomi never had been to the north. Here is an opportunity to even know what happens in the north. After all, they are going for Salah. But rather than see it as something really nice, we saw it as something that is a threat to our existence. How do you explain distrust that certain sections of the nation are permitted to carry weapons and some other sections are not permitted to carry weapons? How do you explain it that you and I can be walking on the street and somebody is dangling a machete before you? It is okay. But some other person is having a dagger and he is arrested. How do they get access to AK-47 when our men our officers and men of the armed forces are shot in a weapon? So there are so many questions that have no answer. And these are things we must sit down and begin to interrogate as a nation. But it's sad to say, we do not have leaders who are interested in wanting to address our citizenship, but they are more interested in dividing us the more, because elections is coming very soon, and so the earlier they sustain these things, the better for them, because they will still use the same issues to fight us or use it against us, so that they keep sitting in power and then doing the things they do. So distrust is at the root of this whole matter, and until we can address that matter, we are still far from reality. This is one out of so many, not a prophet of doom, but this is one out of so many yet to come. We've not addressed the ones in Benue. We've not addressed the ones that people are scared to even travel to their hometown. I don't like to fly. I travel by road, except I do not have an option. If there is a road to that place, I would prefer to go by road. But you are scared by the minute. You are on the road and there is no vehicle coming from the other end. The driver is behaving like somebody who wants to turn back. All because nobody is sure of what you will meet the next second. Nobody is addressing this matter. Yet we are going around frivolities, and then we think we have a government. We're far from reality, sir.
Okay, let me quickly add to what he has said. I don't think anybody had permitted any citizen
to just move around freely.
Move around with
weapons.
Weapons. But I think it's the situation we find ourselves. So you see people resorting to self-defense. So sometimes if it doesn't happen to you, you sound the way you sound. I had seen where people came to a compound, murdered occupants of that compound, and freely left. Now, do you think they will need a permission from any authority to protect themselves in the next return? Nobody will dare that. As I'm seated here with you, I guide myself in my home. I don't think today any unwarranted or unauthorized person can enter my house with the aim of hurting my family. It will contend with me.
Now
That is where we found ourselves. That is where we have found ourselves. So, like you said, we're not trying to promote killings, but government had failed us at that level. The local government are so docile. All these protections, all these issues are happening around the local authorities. I don't want anybody to call federal government at this moment. The state governors are the chief security officers
of their states.
In fact, to that effect, they have allocations allotted to them in billions or in millions. You will know. What are they doing with these funds to secure their states? Most importantly, the territorial state. Some governors throughout their tenures will not even buy vehicles for security agencies to move around the state.
In spite of the budget for the entire tenure.
Budgetary provisions for yearly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
yearly.
Yes, every year.
Yearly.
Yeah.
So you don't, what regions have held themselves tight to secure themselves. They are not a coup.
Yes.
It's doing perfectly well in the east.
In the west.
In the west.
The west, my brother, to bridge the inadequacy of the security agencies. Most of our police, the police is the closest. I think the civil security to protecting Nigerian citizens. They are in the house of these politicians, whom had unfortunately created these challenges we are facing today. Politically, they've passed messages that are separating
divisive,
us, making us looking so different as Nigerians. Whereas our forefathers that gave this entity Nigeria, their plan was to unite a people with diverse culture to become one. That is why, like in his words again, you will see when a northerner is coming to the south, you will see the jubilation. People want to see the attire. People want to see what fabric it is made of. People want to say, please, can you import these fabrics to our place? Why is the National Council, the National NYSC formed? What are the core values of NYSC? Interchange of values, culture, ideas, to create more unity in our country. Today, even Buddhists in this country, they don't even allow their religions to even go to certain parts
of the country
to serve, because they have artificially caused those insecurity. We are using this state as a case study today. There are many chunk of little insecurity in the country.
It's all over the place.
While we did the National Security Summit, second edition, I think 18th of last month, this is what we preached. The youth demography need to also be engaged. If 3 of us are in this room, and this is a community, this is our house, if you do not sleep at home, it is both of us that will first know. Peradventure, by way of inquiry, we even know where he slept. So the information starts with us. The idea, the whereabouts, starts with us. So we must encourage localized security architecture. The DPOs must be well equipped. They must empower and employ people from those localities to be part of the police force or intelligence gathering force, so that it can be napped at its infancy. Infantry stage.
So are you saying, let's quickly latch onto that, are you saying that you would gladly cast a vote for state police?
State police, local government policing. If you say state police, there's a nomenclature. I don't know how to put it. People begin to politicize it.
Yeah.
But the word should be localized security. Localized security. You mentioned something about our tradition in those days. Some cases, some matters are handled within the local palaces.
Yes.
The local palaces used to have young men that can arbitrate, then also punish. When you have a dispute like you beat your wife, you're not taking care of your children, they are localized insecurity with little arms that if you don't take care of them, they grow and become societal issues.
Challenge.
Little children, youth stealing in the communities, stealing gold, people's properties, they were not handled by police. They were handled by the traditional security architecture. So you're taken to the palace or you're taken to the head of chief, you are questioned, it is verified that you did this, they bring out some men by way of lashing you or by way of asking to leave the community or fine. So until we begin to see securing citizens to that value, that level again, we may not get it right. Because army and police, the whole of Nigerian security architecture, the manpower is not to 3 million. It's not more than 3 million, sir. Out of this 3 million we're talking about, almost 30 to 40% are in the gate stand of few politicians,
elites,
and some elites. So the ability to start seeing these things the same way. Ordinarily, my brother, why would an S-man and a farmer fight to the extent that they are also weaponized? They use weapon on themselves.
All right. Let's take it a little bit further this way. From what you have talking about the kind of statements, the kind of narratives that have been promoted over time by the elites, you would, if you go through the media space, you would see that a group, that the umbrella group for the North, did release a statement where some of the excerpts tend to want to increase the tempo, the tension, rather than douse it. Is that not the kind of thing you're talking about? And is that the kind of response we should be getting from the Northern Elders Forum at a time like this?
What would you have expected if it was the Southern group reacting? The same reaction. The same reaction, sir.
Good, but then, is it right?
No.
Is it right?
Now, when I said the same reaction, it is because this is what we have grown over the years. This is the result of the seeds we've sown in the past. And don't tell me that those guys released those statements without the knowledge of certain elders who gave endorsements and approvals to them. So you've already sent a message to the South. Subtly, we're at war.
Exactly, something like that.
Subtly, we're at war. So if you're going to the South, be careful, be prepared. You can meet anything. If you're going to the North, be prepared. This is the society we are growing. This is the society we are growing. This is the society we are handing over to the next generation. This is the society our politicians had given to us. So what do you expect? Nobody had called that to order. Nobody is questioning it. It's everywhere, it's circulated. It's not like in the past where certain things go out and not everybody have access to it.
Right now, it's all over the place on your phone.
Everybody have access to it. So unconsciously, you had set a signal and everybody is waiting. Anything, any action that you suspect, whether right or wrong, tends to bring your mind back to what you have read. Be ready. That's the country we find ourselves today. So I go to the North, I'm not safe. I go to the South, I'm careful. How long do we keep running around circles like this? You talked about whether state police or no state police. It's a known fact that we are long overdue for a state police. And I don't know why it's a challenge. Whether you politicize it or not, are we not politicizing the federal police? Are there no people who naturally shouldn't be going around with police, but because they have money, they are having police? Have you not seen Yahoo boys who carry police around? I walked into a mall some days ago, and I was standing at, I think the second or the third floor, and I saw a young man came out of a jeep, and then a policeman with an AK-47 carrying his bag. So in my head, I was trying to find out who would this person be, only to discover it's just a businessman who may just have 2-3 shops here and there. But because he has money to carry police that is armed, he walks around with police. Why would these people not cause trouble? Because they know that they have secured themselves. They're leaving the vulnerable to kill themselves.
Who are in the majority.
Who are in the majority. Until we begin to question the actions of politicians and leaders, we will keep being in this situation. I like the fact that there was a youth security meeting recently. But the question is, how many of these politicians actually came for the meeting? It is still harmless people like us, vulnerable people like us, that will still come around and still do this conversation. Few minutes, few days from that day, somebody who is hungry still become a very valuable tool in the hand of another politician. Because all you need to do is guarantee his next meal, and he's at your beck and call.
Oh my God.
So we keep running around this circle. We are doing our best as young people. We are pushing the narrative. I wish our leaders and politicians do half as much as what individual organizations are doing to have a sane society. Rather than do that, we will have politicians who keep insulting themselves in the National Assembly. People who are supposed to be distinguished. People who are supposed to look out for the interest of Nigerians. But no, they won't do that. That's not their interest. After all, for every sitting, there's money attached to it. So even if they come to sit for nonsense, you pay them at the end of the day for sitting over nonsense. And then insulting themselves, you pay them for sitting over it.
All right. Now, let's believe that it's not nonsense. Let's believe that it's
How do you explain that people come together and then insult themselves? How useful is it to us? No, what I'm saying is, it doesn't add
value
to us as
national value.
You get. Yeah. That's all I am saying.
Yes, I get your point.
I'm not interested in what you discuss. If what you discuss has no business with why we sent you there, then it's not useful to me.
This is very interesting. Now, let's quickly talk about this, because in the process of your analysis, both of you have touched on Benue and some other places. Now, so right now, the governor of Edo State has promised that there will be compensation. The Kano State governor also said it was going to do some cash and some other stuff for the families of the victims and all that. And then they have also promised that justice will be done whatsoever. They will make sure that whoever is involved gets prosecuted and all that. Now, solving these things in silos, individually, will it solve the problem?
It will never. It will never. Let me tell you
So
something.
we need to adopt a comprehensive
Yes,
approach, a holistic approach.
Yes, and proactive approach. So, we have this tendency that when once Edo saga ends,
Then that's the end.
we relax. So this is the time the both governors are supposed to lash on serious advocacy that we are one. The man from the north, the man from the south, we are one. The governor should not only compensate, but the governor should call farmers in a state. There should be that long 1 week or 2 weeks advocacy in the state, on radios, on television, state televisions, on the that herdsmen are our brothers. Farmers are our sisters. That is the right way to start going. After this killing, another herdsman will be enrouting another farm in Edo State. There will be maybe in a different community. There will be killing again. You go and compensate. No. There should be serious advocacy, which will use these occurrences to create value and have a paradigm shift from occurrence to preventive. So what you compensate as A. So another man that is dying goes around again. They kill him. They compensate. No. There should be thorough advocacy now to letting Edo people know that it is not right. It should not be done. It is never to be done.
In fact, beyond Edo State, nationwide.
No, I am saying this has happened.
Yes.
Kano is involved.
Yes, Edo is involved, yes.
So these two state governors should begin to have advocacies so that he said something. You're going to the north. You're scared.
You're afraid, yeah.
Because you don't know what will happen. You're a southerner. You're coming to the south. You're scared. You're a northerner. You don't know where you go, and then they will turn you one name and murder you. So the language, the first solution should be serious, localized advocacy. What is that community name? The Uromi killing should stand. Have you passed through Uromi Road? A
terrible.
Very lonely and terrible road to apply. I think if you're going to Port Harcourt and you're using the Warri axis,
terrible.
You definitely pass through Uromi. So this is the time the government should bring out their tentacles to ensure that there's serious advocacy, warning that herdsmen are our people. When they approach your farm, see them as your brothers. Guide them through your farmlands. Do you know, let me tell you what happens. Not that farmers are always on the farmland when they root.
Exactly.
People give the information that, there are cows in there. And when you come, instead of having brotherly reception and say, oh, no, let's escort you to pass through this route. Oh, no, those arrangements. Even in our homes, where we also are brothers and sisters, we used to have differences. But because of that word family, we have limitations to work on. Until you begin to preach that we are one Nigeria. Whether you find yourself in the north, find yourself in the south, we are one Nigeria. That is number one. Number two, they should go back to those laws. If we don't have those laws, they should enact those laws and ensure that there are organized ways of doing that.
What exactly do you mean when you say those laws?
Now, the law that guides movements of livestock.
All right.
I think it's under livestock.
Right. So now, does this not justify this, what we're talking about now?
Yes.
The fact that we've all agreed that the herder-farmer clash has been a real problem that is also now smoldering and getting into all kinds of dimensions. Now, is this not a justification for the Tinubu's administration's setting up of the Ministry of Livestock Development?
I was going to say that when the Tinubu administration came in and then set up the Ministry of Livestock
Development,
we all hailed him. We said, there's going to be a permanent end to this crisis. From the day of their establishment till today, what have they done?
No, sorry.
Well, don't you think it's too early to judge them that way?
That ministry that ministry cannot make law. I want to agree with you that that ministry can.
They operate policies, won't they?
That ministry can. The work of a minister is to make physical, bring to practice the whims and caprices, the admiration and the aspiration of a particular government. They are like drivers of the economy. When the president says is going into agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture picks it up, check out the modalities, draw up modalities, and for it to happen.
Yes.
It is now that those activities must conform with constitutional provisions.
Right.
So now, let us take the livestock ministry. They brought it out to curtail those excesses. Now, whatever they're going to do there must be in conformity to laws. So I want to agree with you one side that if they've been proactive to checkmate all of this, they would have been sending signals to the legislation for effective laws that are current to what is on ground.
To take care of what's...
In time past, they enroute livestock through the roads because there are no modernized ways. Today in the world, they traverse and transport livestock in the modernized and quiet form in tons without issues. Where it is of a distance, they site branches in such areas for people to get even distribution. So we can actually apply this. The Ministry for Livestock and whatever they call their name have not even, sorry to say it, I don't think they even know the essence of being established to talk of.
Okay, so we're coming back to the same thing. Look at the Ministry of Agriculture, for instance.
You understand?
You have two proactive young men in the Ministry of Agriculture. I must even commend the Minister for State. Certain things, you are the one that would actually... Now, the President said we are going to be a hungry-free nation. We're going to have food security, food sufficiency. It is the job of the minister to sit down. How do we make this a reality? There are certain things that don't need laws. You don't need laws to access the farm. You don't need laws. You have access to farmland. Make these things available. Make inputs available. There is money to these ministries. So what are they doing? From the day that ministry was established till date, livestock. In fact, we had the whole noise before it was established. Once it was, we didn't even hear who the minister was anymore. We don't even know whether it's in existence.
I don't even know if there's...
I was so excited when the ministry came on board. I was hoping that they would have come up with certain engagement, stakeholders engagement, call states. You don't need laws to call state governors together, to call commissioners of stakeholders together, and then find out what's happening in your state. At least
do like a peer review, a peer
review activity,
stimulate the system,
so that we even see that you even have the intention, but you do not have the backing of the law, and then we can begin to even fault lawmakers for not giving you an enabling environment. But where we are today, it looks like, let me not say something, because it feels like we have a minister that is also operating like the people who are also doing it in the past as it used to be. So nothing is happening, and we are just here. So I think there's much more that needs to be addressed. As leaders, all of these things still falls on the table of leaders. They will still take the bulk of the blame. Whilst we have responsibilities, leaders have so much. They are the drivers. They are supposed to be the ones leading the train. Let's follow. But where do we find ourselves? We have people who do not even know what they want to do. We have young people who are proactive, but will never get access to government. Because they've not amassed the kind of wealth to contend power with these people. I listened to a politician who once said, do you think they will give you power? Do you think even if he himself, he is willing to release power, you have to fight for it. You have to run with it. And he's preparing for 2027 to do the same thing. How many young people want to be that valiant?
Or have the financial war chest to do that kind of thing.
No wonder they would sell their party forms for hundreds of millions so that young people cannot get it. And we are not talking about it yet. 2027 is coming. And we will still the same circle, this time higher, 100 million, 200 million, and then you will still win, and then we'll continue this circle.
Well, at this point, we will need to, shortly we will go on a break, but I mean, bottom line, what we have said thus far, I think the basic point that runs through all of this is that there's huge distrust.
Yes.
Huge distrust.
Yes.
And that's how we have tried to link it up also with the things that have been happening between herders, farmers, the fact that a whole lot of those cases were not taken to their logical conclusions. Yeah. Justice was not seen to be done. Okay. And so it has created in the minds of people like men, yes, I mean, if these people get away again, you never can say, I mean, we'll be at the loss. So everybody is a suspect, as it were. This party is a suspect, that party is a suspect. When you have that kind of setting, tension will never be absent. At this point, we'll go on a break, and when we get back, we will move on to the other topic. And just in case you are interested in partaking of this topic, you want to call in. After the break, we will make the phone line available. You already know the phone number, 08029938365. Please get ready to be a part of this journey. After the break.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTAN TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world.
Imagine a beautiful world. That's our slogan at KAFTAN TV. Hello there, I am Ruben Okala.
Hello, I'm glad to have you join us again on the news on the hour, reaching you live from our studio, the nation's capital.
And that has been the news. Many thanks for watching. My name is Fatima Abbas Hassan. I'm here cutting Baba today.
I am Kirian.
The politics of Lagos State is still very much in the hands of the leaders.
My name is Dayo Omogun. I've not done a change of name.
Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network.
We always dish out beautiful material. Beautiful world. That's our slogan at KAFTAN TV. Hello there, I am Ruben Okala.
Hello, I'm glad to have you join us again on the news on the hour, reaching you live from our studio, in the nation's capital.
And that has been the news. Many thanks for watching. My name is Fatima Abbas Hassan. I'm here cutting Baba today.
I am Kirian Omaya.
The politics of Lagos State is still very much in the hands of the leaders.
My name is Dayo Omogun. I've not done a change of name.
Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network.
We always dish out beautiful materials.
Say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world. We're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising. Join veteran broadcaster Ruben Okala and our crack team live.
And they give us a high price, and we just say, Nigeria, we ready?
As I said earlier, the lyrics is up, talking about the old new national.
On KAFTAN TV, StarTimes channel 480 and 124, as well as NIGCOMSAT frequency 12518, symbol rate 29500, every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. live. You can join the conversation by calling this phone number 0802-993-8365. It's dramatic and insightful. Don't miss it. Please join us. When we say on KAFTAN,
welcome back. You're still on to the polity, and it's coming to you from the Abuja studio of KAFTAN TV. This is the home run, like I say all the time. On this segment, from this segment, we will flow out of the studio at the appropriate time, in just about 20-something minutes time. Now, we've been talking about the Uromi killings, and right now, you must have heard that President Tinubu has approved extension of tenure for the Controller General of the Immigration Service. Ordinarily, she was set to retire August 31 this year. But ahead of the retirement, even before at all, 4 or 5 months ahead of the retirement, she's bagged another 1 year, 4 months. Well, part of the release that was sent says it's because of the tremendous impact of her tenure, the great innovations and improvements in service, in quality of service that have come through her. And these tenure extensions have become a lot more rampant if you consider the fact that even the IGs of police, the last two before this current one, whose tenure has also been extended, also got their own tenures extended. And people are saying, must you extend the tenure? Are you saying that there are no qualified persons to step into those shoes? What exactly is behind such decisions? What do you think, Ambassador Gala, what do you think is behind such extensions? Is it that there will be no person who can fill those spaces? What if the person suddenly dies?
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Thank you so much. We don't pray that any.
No, yes, but we never ever pray that, but people are dying even now.
Yeah.
As we sit here, people are dying.
But basically, I think it boils down to programs. The president has a program and he has an intention. He has what he wants to achieve and give it to them at immigration, give it to them at the Ministry of Interior. They've done very well. The Minister of Interior has done amazingly well.
Sure.
For the Inspiring Youth Africa Initiative and our magazine, I think he was our Man of the Year for 2024.
Right.
So he's done amazingly well, especially as a young man. And if he has a team of young people who have proven to be executing to the letter what their intentions are, why change?
Okay, so why change a winning team?
Why change a winning team?
Why fix it when it ain't broke?
That's the challenge we face
with
our Nigerian
but
we're trying to experiment.
Okay, but there are laws concerning retirement age, number of years of service,
let me use the office of the IG for instance.
Yes.
Yeah, there were 2 other IGs that had tenure and location.
Yeah.
Until there was an act that permitted the IG of police
to serve
for 4 years.
Now, I think that's where the question comes from. Yeah. 4 years, how? 4 years, is it 4 years? I mean, no, is it 4 years up to the age of 60?
No.
Or is it 4 years?
4 years from his point of appointment. Now, the office of the IG is a political office.
Yes, it is.
It's a political appointment.
Yes.
A president can come in today and choose he doesn't want to work with this guy and takes him off and bring whoever he wants to work with him. Okay. So it's now is backed by law. I wouldn't be able to say same for the CG right now.
Yeah.
But the truth is, the president has an intention. He has a program he wants executed, and his team, in his estimation, are doing what he wants. I don't think there's anything wrong with her tenure extension.
All right.
Yes, there could be people who can do better than her. But at the moment, what the president is seeing is that she has capacity to still execute what I have in my heart or what I have in my head. The IG of police has served with the president for years.
Yes.
And he knows what his capacities are. Are we seeing it as Nigerians? The answer may not be a yes or a no, but the president is comfortable
satisfied
working with him.
Right.
The truth about it is you must get to the point where you are comfortable working with certain people.
Sure.
And that's the only point you can say, I accept responsibility for whatever the outcome of their decisions are. Because if she's not doing right, it boils down to the president not doing right. We have access to visas, we have access to our passport, we have access to our passport, not visa now, have access to our passports at good time.
In good time.
We have, the backlog had been cleared, a whole lot is being
Okay, because
so
you're just throwing, how does this affect career progression for other people within the system?
Everybody must know. Okay, sorry.
Okay, let me first of all disagree with him a little. Nigeria is an entity. What this implies is that we are governed by law.
Yes.
So at every point in time that there is changes, you must go back to those laws. I want to disagree with that tenure elongation. Whatever way you want to analyze it. The issues is that, like you said, the whims and caprices of the president, execution is key to him. Achievements is key to him. The problem is we are not institutionalizing our progression. Where she is serving is not her home. It's an institution of its own. If the activities of that institution are streamlined, the next person can take over
and still do exactly
the same thing she is doing. The problem Nigeria have is personalizing progression. It must be Duke. If it is Duke, if it's not Duke, it cannot be done. But Duke is working on a project, and if
there are guidelines.
Yes, if the project are institutionalized, Duke can give way. Some other person will come,
and Dio will come, and Dio will do the right thing too.
The right thing, and then it goes on and on and on. So that is where I want to disagree with him. On the aspect of achievables, the government is tasty people are
hungry
for success.
So that is balance. If the government is tasting, the people
are hungry for governance to. Thank you for that language. The people are hungry for governance to be equitable with their.
Their set goals.
No, I want to use that word. Expectations.
Yes, set goals.
Nigerian expectation is too high. So in that cause, a change of personnel in a particular, most especially
a place
where it is so sensitive, might affect the smooth running of
that place.
That is where I can agree with him. The IG of police has set aside. He has personality integrity. He has the formation, the vision of what the president is looking at. The president will say, "Oh, for 4 years, even though he's expiring, hold on, stay behind. Let's finish this tenure." But again, it cannot truncate the laws. And I've checked it, it does not fall under vetoes too. What one would have done, the president would have still allow her to retire, hire her as a consultant that will manage.
Well, we're not specifying on the CG. We're just talking on the general.
Even DSS, whatever position it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the position is that has to do with
retirement or renewal. Yeah.
You can allow that person to retire. You recontract
as a consultant,
that will still follow those guidelines and get it done. So nobody should justify. There are chains. When you go, there are rankings.
Exactly.
When you exit,
because again, what this does is that
it truncates.
It frustrates some other people's progression.
People have planned themselves.
They have dreams.
And have their dreams also that in so year they would have attained CP. They would have attained this. And some persons in the struggle too. She's not the only, or those persons are not the only policemen or the servicemen that supported the government. So in the anticipation, when my boss leaves, I was the next person that supported this government and have the aspirations and whips and caprices of the decision. I should also be fit to fit there. And all of a sudden, you have those 4 years gone. The government you supported, you never benefited anything to because there were elongations. I think these elongations soon will begin to also go into the political sector. Now, let me tell you something. A time will come. The president had 4 years. The president will say, "Excuse me, INEC, I will do
don't by the back door."
What I came to do, that is why the laws
should be followed.
The constitution is that at 4 years, you terminate and come back, recontest your position. Now, the citizens,
after all, I hear that even Trump is already contemplating a third term. So
through the people's the electorates to say you will be given the mandate back.
To come back
on appointment. If that person had stopped the years of tenure service, please allow that person to exit, recontract that person as a consultant to that
organization,
so that they can have a smooth run of this. So I don't want us to begin to justify tenure elongation because we are waiting. We are waiting to be there.
Oh, exactly. Plenty people
are waiting.
And let's look at this. Could it also be an issue of political politics, for example? Like Duke is the one there right now. If he moves, the next person is Jeremiah,
who is from the north,
who is from a place I don't want, and I don't just like his face. Could it be those kind of considerations?
Let me begin from institutionalizing governance and leadership. As of today, we do not have that in this country. As of today,
and we should continue in that trajectory.
Maybe if you allow me to help us. As of today, we don't have it. It is not something we will do overnight. I don't even think the government of the day is even contemplating it. We don't have a 10, 20, 30, 40 years plan.
No template. You haven't talking about.
So, till tomorrow, it is still his personal ideologies he is running. If he has a successor that refuses to flow with his ideologies, he will change it. If he doesn't, he might choose to continue a bit of his predecessor's plan, but come up with his own. I know countries, Dubai for instance, they have a long year plan.
Okay.
Yes, that even if
that is
the prince,
yes,
even if the prince of Dubai is no longer in place,
the person who takes
continue.
over.
So it's not about a person, it's about
a program, a vision.
It's about a vision.
Yeah.
The world generally does that. Vision 2020, Vision 2030, Vision 2050.
But it now depends on whether you are faithful to your vision.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
But there's a program. And it is only at that point we can begin to hold leaders accountable. Because in 2025, this is what we're supposed to be doing. You are not doing it. But as it stands now, we don't even know the plan of the the plan of the government.
We know.
Do you get?
We know.
So whether he is, I don't know.
He said he knows, and you don't know. So
no problem.
So
whether he is achieving it, we do not know. And then institutionalizing governance, it's not a one-man idea. It's a collective idea. So if he knows, and you and I do not know, how does their plan impact on you and I? Becomes the question. So we must get back to governance, which is for the people, by the people. Until we get back to that point, we'll keep running around this circle. Move further. Tenure elongation. I would keep saying it. Yes, it's okay not to agree with me. But the truth is, if Duke is the one that has capacity to interpret my program, I prefer to work with Duke, elongate his tenure.
Even if it's against the law.
Now, the Asiwaju government is doing his best to ensure that whatever he says, he backs it up with the law. It is the place of the executive to choose heads of this organization.
Sure, yes, it's his prerogative, yes.
And then get approval from the National Assembly.
Yes.
He has done the same thing with the IG of police. What makes you think he wouldn't do the same thing with the CG and several other appointments? Now, if he is trying to legalize a policy, it's not in my place to say, don't do that. The truth is, I may have my life all planned out. But for as long as I am not in charge of how that progression is going to go, it is up to me to allow it. Maybe the chief of the CG of immigration never thought of becoming CG. Providence.
It's possible, yeah.
Just brought her into it.
Yes.
Yet there have been somebody who is supposed to be next in line.
And just dropped.
They've retired the person.
Yes.
This is life. It is possible. Do I justify the fact that you should deprive people of their right? No. But if this is what will bring positive impact, achievement to the government, my brother, let it not be said that if you people didn't allow me to elongate her tenure, she would have done this, she would have done that, she would have done this. Okay, we have allowed you. So that at the end of 4 years, we'll say, okay, after all the elongation, what have you achieved? What have you done? You would have no excuse. So for me, if he backs it up by law, I don't think there's any problem with it. It's okay. Anybody can be there. Anybody may choose to be consultant at the end of the day. Some people will say their set didn't produce chief of defense staff. Their set didn't produce chief of army staff. Must every set produce?
Produce.
There were sets who never produced. So for me, I don't see anything to it. Give us impact. We want to see tangible results. However you want to do it, go all out to make sure it happens. Do it with the laws. All right, like I said, the IG, he has backed it up with a law. Let's see if this also flies. Let's just get impact. That's all that there is to it for me.
As far as you're concerned. All right, so as far as he is concerned,
give us results.
Give results.
That's all.
Whether or not that affects people's careers.
Well, that's not what I have said.
whether or not people's careers get crushed in the process.
No. That, well,
Duke, is that not what you understand by that?
Of course.
No, I know you won't.
When you back it by law, you're truncating someone's career. What I'm saying is that instead of elongating people's tenure, Institutionalize your, see, the Ministry of Youth today, I want to give kudos to the Minister of Youth.
Okay.
A young man below 40. That ministry is institutionalized today. You can go to the ministry, you may not, you don't require to see the minister today. Say what you came for. There are offices that will handle.
Without you having to have a personal.
See the minister. No, you don't need to see the minister. You go in there for the for agri program. There's an institution for it. You go for a empowerment program. There's just make sure that you're meeting the criteria. It goes. When you hold on to the bullets or bulletin of the ministry or of the party, you are not institutionalizing it. You have a full board of directors. You have technical assistants. When they know the focus, methodologies, the work line of that ministry or that paramilitary you're holding, you can give way.
Yeah, you can stay background. Okay.
And then
you are even saying that other person can still be given a chance to work from the fringes as a consultant.
So far as the president, his ideologies are enshrined in that structure, anybody can come in. Is to follow the structure. Whereas there are character difference. Let me cite an example to the present minister of FCT and the past ministers. One thing the minister of today have is will.
Yeah.
He's not only being able, but he has the will. What I mean is that if he wants to evacuate certain people in certain areas for progress and impact, like you've observed, he has the will. He goes for it. He achieves it. Whereas other person would want to still do the same thing he wants to do, but will be toiling and playing with will. So it begins to linger until 4 years elapse. Then they say the government of in the FCT. So structuring it, putting people that have personality and career and courage to propel it to success is one key thing. That is where I want to likely agree with him. Some persons have that embodiment of willingness, ability. These are the structures, these are the way line. For us as a government, the Tinubu administration, this is not what we want to achieve. This ministry cannot do X, Y, Z, and they are. It becomes structural and personalized. So it differs, but we should not do things that will begin to set precedents tomorrow that other people, the civil service especially, will begin to feel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think your point is well made, because if you let Agala just go on,
people will remain on power till 100 years.
Well, at this point, we will be calling it a day on the show. And I really want to say thank you to Duke. Thanks for coming.
And next time, please don't invite me and my boss on air. Making me shy.
So who's the boss now? You said you are the boss. You say, I think it's good because it then shows humility from both parties.
Next time I'll ask who is the next person.
I deliberately didn't allow both of you to know that there was a second person.
I said I am Fubara, but I'm not saying he's the person.
We just got to go now. Thank you, Gala, for coming. And I want to say thank you to the production team also. Thank you very much to the audience. Thank you. Please stay tuned to Kaftan Television. This is where it's happening. Tomorrow is another day. And Polity will be on air, same time, same station tomorrow. And please do join me this evening at 8, from 8 to 9 for Matters Arising. At this point, it's bye-bye from me, Dayo Omogun.
That's our slogan at Captain TV. Hello there. I am Ruben Okala.
Hello, I'm glad to have you join us again on the News on the Hour, reaching you live from our studio in the nation's capital.
And that has been the news. Many thanks for watching. My name is Fatima Abbas Hassan. I'm the Katim Baba today.
I am Kirian.
The politics of Lagos State is still very much in the hands of the leaders.
My name is Dayo Omogun. I've not done a change of name.
Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network.
We always dish out beautiful material.
When we say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world. We're not just bragging. We know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising. Join veteran broadcaster Ruben Okala and our crack team live.
And they give us a high price, and we just say, Nigeria, we ready.
As I said earlier, the lyrics is up, talking about